You don't want to do it in the heavily trafficked tourist areas.
Yeah.
You want to stay away from that. You want to go to banks. Like if there is a post office nearby, check there. There may be one there, but go to like, I don't know, Bank of Italy,
like
or
the Banco di Santo Spirito.
Banco di Santo Spirito, sì.
Hey,
È molto bene.
Hey, I'm a bank. All right, we're kicking off this show. We're saving everybody who's going to Italy some money. The expats are here to save you your dollars, your euros, as you travel, specifically Italy, because that's where Steve, Mike, and I have lived a good portion of our lives. So we kind of know a few of the inroads and how to save a few bucks so you get that extra Peroni.
That's right.
So we'll kind of just kick it off to Steve. He's got some pretty good information on the ATM usage.
Woohoo! Hey. And so are we, Chris, are we on Patreon so that they can contribute to our cause?
No, it's all cash. We meet.
You'll have to go down to our ATM.
So the six people that view our show, if they each contributed $10, we could divide it up and get $20 a piece.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
That'd be great.
So whatever money you save by this information at the ATMs, just send it in, and you can buy us a half a cup of coffee.
We'll split a cup.
We'll split a cup. So the one thing is the really great thing about today's electronic economy is you don't have to carry cash. That's when we were there in the 70s, I don't even know how people did it. Traveler's checks, which were weird, but I don't know.
Well, in the 70s, nobody had any money. Both the Italians, they didn't have change. You'd go to a store.
We just brought 3 dozen eggs with us on the plane, and then we'd sell them on the street.
Just bring a chicken into the store and I want
a carton of cigarettes.
Yeah, you go to the store, you'd buy something, and they'd say, we don't have any change. They give you 4 pieces of bubble gum and the tomato for change. And that was how it was done, because a lot of places just didn't have the lira, the way it broke down. They didn't have the coins.
The funny thing is that whole thing that existed in the 70s when Italy really was a third world country. And that is not an exaggeration, where they would give you candy and gum and whatever, the equivalent of what your change would be. But in our little town in Guardia, there's a little grocery that we call it the Sisters, because these 2 sisters run the store. And I kid you not, they don't close their little cash registers drawer because it's piled with coins. I mean, more coins, but they're still reluctant. Say, do you have the right change? Do you have a 10-year, a 10-cent piece or a 50-cent? So that it's just kind of this thing they grew up with, and it's never changed. But anyway, so the cool thing is, right now, even in the little remote towns, everybody takes credit cards. So you really don't have to carry cash. I mean, even for a cup of coffee, a small lunch or whatever, they'll definitely take credit cards. But the one thing is to take note of, if you are going to get cash at an ATM, do not, if at all possible, do not use independent ATMs, like an ATM if you're walking down the street and there's an ATM in a building, whatever. Those or at the airport or at the train station, they're kind of fixed where you have to withdraw a certain amount. Usually it's like 200 or 300 euros, and you're paying an exorbitant markup and percentage rate and exchange rate and yada yada yada. So if you're going to get cash, if you can find an Italian post office, not always, but most typically, they have an ATM, and those typically are the lowest exchange rate. Or if you're in a city, go to a bank that has an outdoor ATM, or even in a lobby. A lot of them have lobbies. And because they will just give you they'll do like a 4% exchange rate, or, it's more than you would want to spend, but that's just less than the other ones. What did you, Michael, when you were getting cash at Naples train station?
Oh, I don't even. It was like I got $400. I got 400 euros, and I think it cost me around $80.
I want to own one of those machines.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have a nephew that did really well with cash machines and different. They had different places really, and here's my little niece. She's maybe 5'2", 5'3". She's got her 38 tucked in her back. They're walking around with, lots of cash in in the cars.
Don't give away their name.
No, not going to do it. But I don't think they're doing that anymore anyway. But and they may still have them. But that's how they kind of got started with a group of people. They all went in and got these cash machines. Did very well.
But anyway, that's just a tip, because everybody's.
Everybody is always needing cash for something.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's nice to carry cash. It does give you a little bit more flexibility. It's always good to carry some cash, but you're right. You don't need to carry much. And especially if you're in the larger tourist areas, there's no reason other than I think people like to carry cash. You know what I mean? It does give you some flexibility. I don't know what you'd need it for in the sense of, you're right. But I think going to smaller towns, it would be wise to have some cash.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Guardia is one of the smaller places you could go. I mean, very similar to probably 1,000 other towns in Italy. And I didn't really need it. It was handy going up to Pasquale's up there, the cafe.
Right.
But that's the other thing. A lot of the in euros, they've got up to like a $5 coin, don't they? A €5 coin. They have a €1, €2
No, they
coin.
have a 1 and a 2. I don't. Now,
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Well, you might be right. I don't know. I think I have a little bit of change left over. But anyway, that's a good one. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna change money, if you're impatient, do whatever you want. But if you go to a bank or a post office or someplace where the ATM machine is owned by the bank and it's at their place, you'll pay less.
Also, people do a lot of traveling when they're in Italy. Obviously, you need to be able to walk. Walking is the primary form of transportation, especially when you go to these smaller villages like Guardia, where Steve was. But the trains and the buses really work well.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I hear, it's actually better to get a pass a few days if you'll be riding a bus.
Mm-hmm.
What I read, and I didn't do this, we just bought our tickets when we got there, but buy your tickets. If you know you're going to be traveling in Italy from, say, Florence to Rome or somewhere, buy your tickets a month in advance. You'll save a lot. I don't know what the numbers are, but you'll save a significant amount. If you buy them, like Chris said, if you buy them the day you're leaving, you're going to pay a lot more. You're going to save quite a bit by buying in advance if you know you're going to be traveling. So that's, and you can buy them online. You can go to the Italian websites and get the translation pages. Anyway, Chris, sorry.
No, I was just saying, then you're really locked into getting on that bus because
yeah, that's right.
Well, if like Michael said, if you're going to spend 4 days here and then you're going to change cities, I would say yes. Now, the one thing is that I think to be careful of, in Italy, there are 2 train systems. There's Train Italia and Italo Train. So there's the 2, and you can go right to their website in the US. And the interesting thing is, if you go and buy a second class ticket, they're going to offer you an upgrade for like €5 to upgrade to first class. And first class, I'm just telling you, is a lot nicer than second class. And then
they have it set up around the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and then in first class, you can choose your seats. So you can, what we always tried to do, we'd go to the second class, pay for the upgrade. It was like €5 a ticket. You know what I mean? It's like $5 to upgrade to first class. But then we'd get the seats that would have the little table in between.
Yeah.
So you're sitting across from each other and you can take your stuff out and read a book or whatever, and you're not kind of like on a plane with the seat in front of you and you're there and you don't, because they don't have the fold down tables and whatever. But anyway, that's just a.
And the buses are also very convenient, but it's got a little bit more complicated. I know when we were in Italy in the 70s and 80s, you get on the bus and there's a guy sitting there that would take your money and a little, but now it's all, a machine. And it's so easy to go, I'm not going to pay this machine. It's never going to know. But actually, from what I hear is guys jump on the bus and they're actually investigators or whatever for the bus system. And it's like a $50 fine or something like that if you don't have a ticket. Or
Hate it. Got taken off the bus by the police. So, but this was a total scam. The validation machine in the back of the bus where we get on wasn't working. And it said non funzione. You go to the front of the bus, they had a tape, so you couldn't reach the validation machine at the front of the bus. So everyone that got on the bus couldn't validate their tickets. And we were on our way to St. Peter's, so they know almost everybody on the bus
Is a tourist.
And the people with the passes, so they pulled us and I think 3 or 4 other people off the bus. We had to do a $50 credit card thing right there. I mean, so validation, if you want to get validated, just be careful to make sure that you do it, because especially like Florence, Rome, Venice, this is how they make a lot of money.
yes. Or you could just, another good point is to get in shape, be able to walk, because you have to do a lot of walking.
Forget that.
Or get in shape while you're there walking. And
They do have the little scooters in Rome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You want to get killed really fast? You want to commit suicide, go to Rome, get a scooter. You'll be dead in no time.
But like I said, get in shape so you can walk. And we actually have an author here sitting amongst us. You get his book, you'll get in shape.
Oh man.
Mike, you want to plug your book while we're
Oh man. No, not really.
It's all about
We can tell.
exercise.
Mike, take your shirt off.
Hey, I started working out. I'm doing push-ups.
Well, he wrote the book. He hasn't started implementing it yet. So
I'm working on it. Actually, I started working out
Hey,
here you go.
again.
So, anyways, or you can figure out your own workout schedule and
Yes.
read someone else's book.
Walking, and look at you're in, like in the big cities like Rome, Florence, the ones you'll go to, you'll want to hit Venice. Really, you'll want to walk. I mean, if you're on a crowded bus or in a taxi, you don't see, and these are not, they're big cities. Rome's a big city, but the actual center of Rome, the ancient walled city where you really want to catch, all the views, everything's 10 minutes. 10 to 15, 20 minutes. You can walk up through Barberini up to the Veneto. You can walk to the Colosseum. You can walk to the Pantheon.
Michael, we're talking like 45 minutes from Piazza della Repubblica to Piazza Venezia.
Piazza Venezia. Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. There's so much to see. And if you're tired, stop at a cafe. Go ahead. Yeah, you can take the subway, but that's like one line, right?
That's scary. I'm just saying, I agree with Michael. The walking thing, what you see, and I think this is the culture of where you are.
Right.
Today's Rome, the stores, what are this, it's to me, even so we usually stay at this one hotel in Rome, and then we walk down right past Santa Susanna, the church where we got married, and then down Via Barberini to Piazza Barberini. So all the little cafes in Piazza Barberini, they're big tourist places, but they make their sandwiches and then they put them in these glass cases, and it's like artwork.
Yeah,
it's the way they display them. It's just the color and the order and the symmetry and it's just like, if you're on the bus, you're going to miss all these little nuances of Italy and what it's like to be there and to experience just walking down the street.
You know what? And that's the thing. You look at the culture. People drive cars. There's lots of cars. It's a busy city, but the general populace is walking because it's if you're not going too far. I mean, I think there was one day, I think we walked like 13 miles in one day, but we started early in the morning and, but we
finished at 11 o'clock at night.
No, seriously, we did. We were staying on the Corso, the Via del Corso up by Piazza del Popolo. I think that's where it was. And so we were walking all day, and it's probably like a 2-mile jaunt from the wedding cake all the way down to the two piazzas where we used to get the bus at the head of the Borghese Park, Piazza del Popolo and whatever it is. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So we were walking back and forth. But really, the real cool thing is getting over to Trastevere, going to see the Vatican, going through some of the old neighborhoods around Campo di Fiori, and just these different places, Piazza Navona. I mean, you got to be walking. The Pantheon. I mean, there's just. I say go to Rome, and I know the crowds are bad, but it's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I mean, there really isn't, and you have to endure. If you just veer off, like you go off the streets from the Trevi Fountain, literally just go down the side streets.
Yep.
There's no crowds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's all kinds of cool pizza places and little cafes and whatever that are frequented by the Italians.
Yeah, the best pizza places you're going to go to aren't the touristy ones. The best pizza I had in Rome was right on what was the name of the hotel you stayed at? You told us about, Steve. Quirinale.
The Quirinale.
Quirinale. So Via Nazionale runs right in front of the Quirinale, and Via Nazionale is a big street. Well, there's a little tiny pizza place. I go in, I order a piece of pizza, 300 grams or quattro
cento.
No, quattro enti. Remember we used to buy, that was 400 grams and he looks at me, he goes, "It's pizza by the slice." He goes, "We don't sell it by weight." He goes, "What are you?" I said, "Sorry."
He said, "Io non ricordo."
Oh yeah.
You know what? That's all fun, but if you get to the airport, you got to say go to Naples or Reggio Calabria. What you want to do, what I'm going to do this time is I'm renting a car. I tell you what, it's like a third. I would say it's probably 2/3 the price as you would pay here in the United States.
Yeah,
I mean it's much cheaper, and they're smaller, and you can get around. And once you get outside the cities, the roads are pretty much empty for the most part.
Yeah, they're freeways and they're big. And even going out to Guardia when we were on the train, I was really impressed with the roadways, even up in the mountains down by. Oh yeah, you're going by over to Benevento and they're in the south central Italy, and the roads were great. They weren't crowded. I imagine once you get into the cities, you're going to hit traffic and heavy traffic.
And I know Steve has rented a few times.
I have
recently.
Actually,
and I was just going to say, I rented my car already. So I just got to show up like at the airport and get my car.
So did you, Chris, when you rented, did you make sure that your rental company was in the terminal?
Yeah, I believe I did.
Okay, good. So what happens is when you're going to rent a car, like we would always fly into Rome because the car rentals in Rome were significantly cheaper than going to Naples or other secondary cities. I mean, like huge amount of difference. You drive an extra hour, but you save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on rental properties. But the catch is if you make sure that it's in terminal, then you don't have to go out and wait for a bus that may or may not show up. So I didn't know this when we first started, and we rented a car that was not in terminal. So we waited for the bus and it didn't show up. So I went on my phone, found out where it was. We caught a cab. And so we spent 20 euros for the cab to take us to the off-site rental car office. And when we got there, there was a sign on the window that said, "We have moved to the terminal." So we had to take the cab back to the terminal and spend 40 euros to walk to the in-terminal, whatever. But I'm just saying, we've had friends that said, no problem, but I'm just saying, you want to streamline your trip to not have too many. It's sort of like a flight that's direct or with connections. You know what I mean? The direct flight's always better. So just when you're doing, if I think like kayak, or there's a couple of other ones where you can say in terminal, and so you get your car. But on that note, we had a lot of friends, because we lived not too far from Naples, that the car rentals in Naples were unbelievably expensive, and that you'd pay more to fly into Naples and then literally 3 to 4 or 5 times more for a rental car out of Naples than Rome. So there was an hour and a half difference, traffic, and you'd save hundreds, if not thousands, on the rental car. We were renting cars for $125 a month.
Yeah, that's what I got. Well, I got 10 days. It's $280 for the whole shebang.
Yeah, but
or 10 days. So
Yeah.
that's insurance and everything. So it's like, that's what, $20 a day, $28 a day.
That's still a deal.
Here in the States.
And here's the other thing, and when you're traveling to Italy, we've gone both in the spring and in the fall recently when we were there. And I would say, if you want to save money, definitely go during the off season. And if you go in the fall, Italy is spectacular in the fall. I imagine farther north you go, it's going to be a little chillier. But if you're going to be Rome or south, or even north of Rome and south, you're going to hit the best time, the best weather you're going to find. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't have storms, or can be storms, that kind of thing. But we were down in southern Italy in, what was it, the end of October, right, Steve?
Yes. It was spectacular.
It was unbelievable. 75, 78 degrees, gorgeous sunny days. We're out on this little island, Ischia, off the coast of Naples, and it was spectacular. But I think don't go in Rome and a lot of places in August. August is like one of the hottest months of the year, and it's brutal. I mean, it's a very hot, dry place.
Well, I don't know about dry, but it's hot anyway.
Yeah. I think it's really, it's a hot, it can be very hot, and they do their big. Then the other thing is, in August they have Ferragosto, and that's their big vacation time. A lot of the Italians close their stores and take
30% of the country goes on vacation.
Yeah. So you want to make sure you're going, when you can go, obviously. If you can, if the only time you can go is during the summer, if you can save a little money and you can travel either in the spring. I think it was a little bit too chilly still in the spring. We went at the end of March, April, and it wasn't bad, but it was cold and wet in Rome. It was pretty chilly. We still had a great time. I loved it, but it would have been nice to have the weather we had when we were there in October.
So we were, my daughter Kate came over a couple of times in July over the 4th of July weekend when our business was closed. We did a Vatican tour. It was 100 degrees in Rome. And we're literally standing outside waiting for this tour to begin. And it was in the 90s. I don't know what that is, centigrade, but anyway, it doesn't matter. 90s. We're waiting outside. We go into the visitor center at the Vatican Museum, and it's all air conditioned. And the first thing they do is they take the tour group and you go outside into the unair conditioned. Well, the whole Vatican Museum is not air conditioned. So it's 90 degrees.
Oh, man.
And halfway through the tour, I just thought, I can't do it. So we just had to leave. I mean, we'd been through it already and seen it, whatever. But it's just like one of those things where a lot of the main tourist events, especially during the summer, are not air conditioned. Yeah. And so you got to, you have to plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Get one of those air conditioning rings that sit around your neck that freezes your head.
And I have a question for you guys. I go to a restaurant in Rome or Naples or Reggio Calabria. Do I tip the waiter or just perform such a great service? I'm putting it out there. Who wants to answer?
Nope. You don't tip. I mean, look, that's not true. You can tip, but they don't necessarily, they don't expect it because they're paid to serve the food.
Except if you go to Rome.
Yeah. See, now a lot of places where a lot of Americans go now, they expect a tip in those places, but you're not necessarily required to give one.
No. It's even beyond that. It is culturally not done.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say you can tip is if you go to a cafe and you're standing at the counter. When you pay for your coffee before you get it, and then you put your receipt on the counter that says what you ordered, you can put like a 10 euro, not a 10 euro, a 10-cent coin, a 20-cent coin. That is appropriate. And that is acceptable. The Italians do that. It's just like a little, throw a little bit in. But you do not tip. When you go to a restaurant, the bill is the bill. There's no tax. It is all of the tax is added in. It's all done. You pay that bill. Now, when you go to Rome, the waiters will tell you, oh, this is how we live. It's a lie. It's a lie. They're just trying to squeeze every penny out of you they can. But I'm just saying, if you go to Rome, and it's kind of hard because these waiters are really good at being pushy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't think so, buddy. But anyway.
And, if you do go to the coffee bar, it's better to have your coffee at the bar because they charge you extra if you have a seat or get a table.
Yeah.
Like 3 times as much.
A few bucks, a quick coffee, and
yeah. And the thing is, Rome is a practiced tourist trap. I mean, those guys live it, they breathe it, and don't take anything from some street vendor. If he hands you something, do not take it. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's people,
it's increased even more. That Africans are coming over, selling all little elephants.
So the funny thing is, this is kind of a funny story. We were there 20 years ago, and I think they're Nigerians. I don't know, Africans. These black guys, God love them. They're great salesmen, but they have. I don't know if you saw these guys. The guys with the collapsible bowls. That it's like this thing, and they're slapping it, and then they pull up the handle, and this bowl pops up, and then they close it down, and it's made of wood. I don't know. What would you use it for? A bowl with holes in it? I don't know.
Well, it works
selling it for
salad.
20 years.
It works great for salad because every time you go down farther in the bowl with your salad, you drop a level. Then you go to the next level, and you drop another level. You go to the next level.
I just think it's so funny. There's a collapsible goat, and they're slapping them, they're snapping them, going through it. I'm thinking, what is the draw here?
Yeah.
But hey, they've been making money for 20 years. They probably have a villa outside of Rome with a couple of Maseratis.
Yeah, it's really, and that's the thing. I mean, you got to go with your head on a swivel. Be careful with your money. There are pickpockets there. The thing is, no one's going to hurt you, but you will get stuff stolen. They'll take your passports or take your wallet. Anyway.
So the thing that I did when I was living there is I had my man bag, and I'm just telling you,
your merce,
my merce. But it's because your pockets and your coats, they will literally go inside your coat to your pockets. And I would always have my bag with a flap turned inside. So there was no way that they were going to get inside that bag, and I'd have my passport, my wallet, my phone, everything. And we never, ever had an issue. But like traveling on the bus, remember Dad telling the story where he was on a crowded bus and he thought something's happening and he wasn't sure what was going on. But when the bus stopped at the next stop, he literally threw himself out the door. And when he got out, he realized that the people around him were rolling up his trench coat to get into his pockets.
Well, I remember the story of, I think, Chris, you were there, right? Where the guys stole the camera and all
On
this.
the beach, yeah.
You were at the beach and they ran up, grabbed a bag, and jumped on a motor scooter and took off. And you
Or
couldn't.
the license plate behind the motor scooter, and
Yeah, had his hand over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember. And then the crazy thing with Tom, our youngest brother Tom, is at a pizzeria with his friends, and they robbed. These guys come in and rob the pizzeria. This is in Naples. Well, we were north of Naples. What was it down in? What was that little place? Quarto.
yeah,
Yeah. And Tommy was in the restaurant, and of course they don't just rob the restaurant; they rob everybody in the restaurant. Everybody lines up, hands up, and our brother Tom must have been what, 13, 14 maybe?
Yeah, around that. Yeah.
And his friend leans over. He goes, "Tommy, I don't have any money. Could you lend me some money?" I thought that's one of those opportunities. You give them all the money. You say, "Yeah, but I want you to pay me back." You give them all your money.
Even though they stole it from you still owe me.
Doesn't matter. That's just a technicality. Can't hide behind some. Yeah. Anyway, but go ahead, Chris.
Say, and also don't ask for ketchup while you're in a restaurant in Italy. That waiter got so angry with me. I was eating something Italian. I'm like, "Do you have any ketchup?" He's like, "Ketchup? Would you like some mustard also?" No, just ketchup. He stomps off.
Yeah, you want to be careful. You know what? But here's the hilarious thing is, we were staying real close to Campo di Fiore, just a block away, and so we'd walk down. And one morning, I thought, we were there for, I don't know, a week and a half or something, and I thought, I'd like an American breakfast. Do not make that mistake. Don't order any. They don't have any clue. They gave me 2 pieces of French toast with an egg on top of it, and that was it. That was my American breakfast, and I think there was like a piece of meat that looked something
prosciutto crudo.
Yeah, right. It was something. It was something weird, and I should have just stuck with the cornetti. The little the pastries are great
with the Nutella in it, the chocolate sauce.
One show we will do a foodie show. We go over all the wonderful tips and foodie stuff. But we're gonna.
The Italians are. To them, the connection to food it's a very personal thing.
Right.
It's just like in the States, you can do whatever you want, put anything you want. But with them, it's sort of like cutting up your spaghetti. Don't let them see you do it.
Yes, these will be great topics for the foodie show. The mustard, the ketchup thing was save your life. Don't ask for mustard or ketchup. That's how you keep alive. So anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. We'll
beautiful.
Stick a fork in it. I think we're done, gentlemen.
Yep. All right.
Your time.
Yep.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.